Well, I guess really the first thing that was a bit of a shock arriving in Vietnam was the fact that we arrived during Tet, 1968, and Ton Son Nhut was being mortared. So the international terminal was on fire.
Small explosions all around the airport, down the runway. The airport was actually under attack as we landed. Holy shit, yeah, I don't have a rifle, the rifles are in the hold. What the fuck am I doing here? It was exactly what I thought. What a great way to fly into Vietnam, is to be under fire on day one.
Well, this was all about protecting Saigon, and the American headquarters there, all of their interests were at stake. Particularly if they could get at the embassy in Saigon, this was, obviously a propaganda triumph.
Well, really the shit at the fan then bad, because the Viet Cong are fair dinkum and they're not going to be a pushover. That really brought the reality home that you can get killed or get shot that quick, it's not funny, you know. So you've got to use every ounce of your ability to try and stay alive, because the Vietnamese are not, they weren't fools, they were good, tough soldiers, and they give you a hard time. They never back off.
There'd been a further attempt by the Vietnamese to infiltrate into Saigon and to demonstrate their capacity to gnaw away at the Americans. And they were sending parties infiltrating from the north. Then we were told that some of the task force would be operating north of Saigon. So we suddenly found ourselves in the big league, flown up about 40 kilometres north of Saigon.
We expected to strike enemy withdrawing from Saigon, which is from the south and southwest. We were told that they would be low morale, broken after action in Saigon, and we were to intercept their withdrawal.
What we were supposed to be doing was ambushing and destroying the North Vietnamese army that was coming out of Saigon, having failed in the second Tet. And they would be wet, miserable, underfed, and generally dejected.
So we were there to intercept withdrawing North Vietnamese troops who had attacked Saigon and were withdrawing back to Cambodia.
And what they didn't tell us was that there were enemy formed groups reinforcing, coming from the north, who were well trained, high morale and moving fast, and there were some 10,000 of them.
Did you ever discuss with Brigadier Hughes the lack of intelligence and what you were basically parachuted into?
Yes, we did quietly, but with a great deal of respect for him. I tried to find out as much as I could about the situation, because it was unusual. I don't really know what information was passed to him. I know what was passed to us, and it was very sparse. I can only assume that he wasn't well briefed about the situation in which the battalions were being placed.
I should add that the intelligence that we got was no help to us at all, because we were told that there were enemy in the area, but it was a vast area we were told. I mean, they could have been anywhere. I quite often say it was about the size of Victoria, but that's a bit of an exaggeration.
So it really is a comment, I guess, about the lack of intelligence and communication between the American command and our own forces in Saigon.
It was sheer, in my humble opinion, incompetence. It was something that should have been passed on, and it was something that should have been emphasised.
Now, the enemy we were up against were tremendous, because we never knew where they were. Their camouflage was beautiful. They were brilliant. And they had to be too, because they had no air, and we had a lot of air flying overhead. So The enemy, with their camouflage and the way they moved at night, they were just very, very good. And so we didn't know what was around the corner.
We were taken by a helicopter, flown at about 3,000 feet over the area, could see very little.
The pilot wouldn't come down very close to the ground so we could check out where we had to land. And it was American. He says, "Oh, I'm not coming down any lower than this." And so we looked at the ground and said, "Well, I think it's going to be all right." So when we flew back and to see the Brigadier, we told him what we'd seen. We told him that we were guessing that the landing zone would be all right for us. We explained that we're up so high, and then he gave more complete orders to us, and we went back to our battalions and worked out what we were going to do.